Parana, hello, bonsoir, bonjour, hola, welcome everyone to our Reo and Ori Talk live today. I'm Moena Rivera, CEO and co-founder of POLY-lingual, and super excited to have you here. I'm not sure if we're on. Yes, we're on. So hi everyone. I'm so excited tonight because I finally get to have a chance to talk to Aunty Rose. So I see Aunty Rose, you're here. So let me send you an invitation right now, and you should be on. In the meantime, I want to say hello to everyone. Yarana, thank you for joining us. Super excited to have you guys here to our Reo Tahiti and Ori Tahiti Talk. Let me see. Are you here? Okay. Hi.
Wait, let me try and adjust this a little bit. Hold on.
I'm gonna adjust mine too.
Okay, good.
Kuku Tati, so happy to see you.
It's me. What a pleasure it is to be here with you. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, no, thank you to you. Oh my goodness, I've been waiting for this moment for quite some time because we never had the chance to get together. I know we're all busy and we're a different part of the world, but and now I'm so happy you have accepted my invitation. Thank you so much. Maruru Mete.
No, Simwa, thank you for for thinking that I could bring to such a such an elaborate panel of influencers and people that have been so into the the world of Ori Tahiti and Reo Tahiti. So thank you for including me in that prestigious panel. So,
it was actually a great panel. I actually feel so spoiled. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. What a treat.
I
to have
agree.
you.
My goodness, I agree. From Matani to Mareva to Desiree to Mevina and
Yes.
Tiana, Vairea and Kehal. Oh
How?
my gosh, what a treat.
Yeah, and we're still not
So,
done. We still have all the way to the end of the week, but I thank everyone for participating because you know what? These actually was requested by a lot of people around me, and I say, you know what? Let's make it happen because we need to have those conversations openly in front of everybody because people are looking after you guys too. So I want to tell you, are you kidding? Of course you have to be included because you also have a huge background, and I'm excited to share that right now because you know what? There's so much to share. And so I'm going to take advantage to be with you right now, Rose.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, so everyone, let's welcome Rose I'm gonna call her Tati Rose because this is too like better for me, you know, as a Tahitian. I rather call her like that. But everybody, let's just welcome her and give her like a like or hearts or whatever you want. So Rose, you are known all over the world as a Ori Tahiti figure, like as a dancer, instructor, and also judge because you've been judging in a lot of different type of competitions, pretty much around the world. But the thing is, and I will talk for myself as well. Not too many people know your like where you come from and where your Ori Tahiti journey is. I don't know that part of the story, and I want to know. I want you to share with us a little bit how your passion for the Ori Tahiti began and how it developed over the years.
Great. Well, first of all, I'm going to say Kuraora because
Kura.
that's where my grandparents come from, little Tuamotu island called Takaroa. So big shout out to all of my family from the Tuamotu Islands, so Kuraora, and also
Kuraura.
Yorana everybody. Yorana Tulmon, Yorana everybody. And let me just go back to the word Yorana because it's such an important word. Just
It is.
if you really think, if you really break down the word Yorana, Yorana literally means may you live forever.
Yes.
So when we are saying to each other Yorana, we literally telling each other, may we live forever. So to me, there's no bigger impact than the greeting of the Tahitian language that
Yes,
is so important. So, and I
totally.
always start, whether it's my class, whether it's my, you know, my association with my groups, my dancers, whoever's, I always say kuraura, or I always say yorana. So my background in dancing, I come from a long line, and like many of your guests, I come from a long line of teachers and dancers and musicians and songwriters, the Mapuhi family, the
Ooh.
Mariterangi family, the Mo'o family, the Tahina family. All that is part of who I am today. And so it's so important to make sure that we pay tribute to our to the people that allow us to stand on their shoulders, like my family, and to be
Yes.
able to carry that legacy of you know, of the love for the Ori Tahiti, the love for the Reo Maui, Reo Tahiti, the love for music, the love for costume making, choreography. All that is because I have been blessed to have been born in a family that is solely grounded, so deeply rooted in
Yes.
the Tahitian culture. So my mom, Irina Mapui, was the pupau veine for Mami Madeleine Mo'am when she first reopened
No
the,
way.
yes, and Coco was pupau tane. So as you can see, it goes way
Way
back to
back.
the beginning of Tahitian dancing when it was reopened into the world for people to, you know, for her to have the courage to say, no longer you're going to taboo what we are so proud of. And so, yeah, so I'm so proud of my legacy as you know, as a Tahitian woman, as somebody that has been so deeply rooted in my culture. So
Oh my gosh, Tati, this is just amazing. Like, I'm sure they're all proud of you though, because you did continue that legacy. And I want to
yeah.
thank you for that because you acknowledge, you know, like the treasure, you know, like that your family had brought, you know, one generation after generation, and you continuing this. I mean, this is just amazing. I love it. I want to be born in a family like this where everybody's such
I
like
think
so
somehow we
sync.
may be related. I'm not sure. You know,
Maybe,
don't
who
count that
knows?
part out. Yeah, exactly.
You know what? There
So
might be a connection. My family is 100% from Reyatea. We call them Pure Tutemua. So they're all from there. And so I don't really know any other outside, you know, of that circle because we're all like from the Society Island. So who knows? But we gotta like dig a little bit more.
right, right. Well,
Ah,
when I started dancing, I think I may have been 5 or 6 or even 7 when the ship in those days, Mariposa, Monterey, used to come to dock in Tahiti. My mom was a choir singer and we were the dancers. So my love for dancing started really way back,
like
way back.
as a kid.
Yeah, and after my mom, my mom passed away, I was adopted. I come from, you know, 2 separate family that I was born into, then I was adopted. So I get the blessings of both. But my father, after my mom passed away, he was, you know, really like, you know, school, habira, habira, habira. So I cannot put that aside until I came to this country back in the early 70s. I think it was 1974
Uh-huh.
when I left home. So it was maybe about 40 something years ago. I can't remember. So and then just my desire kind of, you know, kind of came back up. You know, I needed to get educated first, and I had a really good education. I attended Brigham Young University, And then I went to the corporate world, and there was just something that was kind of nodding at me, And when I decided,
calling you.
Exactly. And when I decided to go back to roots, I actually had to sit my family down and tell them that, I've had a really good education. I've had, I was able to contribute to my tax-paying duties.
Yes.
But I have this profound feeling that I need to go back to roots. I need to reconnect my roots. And I tell you, Moy, it's been the best decision I have ever made.
Yeah.
It really was rich in culture, rich in connection with everything, even when I go home, everything is different,
Yeah,
I feel so much closer. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Tati Rose, when you started, you say you started learning the Ori Tahiti at a very young age as a kid. I was curious to know, I'm curious to know that where did they teach you the Ori Tahiti in Tahitian back then? Was it in Tahitian, or did you have that mix of languages with French?
It was all Tahitian.
It was all Tahitian. I love that.
It was all Tahitian. My mom didn't speak any French nor English. It was my adopted mom that was fluent in English, but my mom, no, we spoke Tahitian at home, but at school Tahitian was not allowed to be spoken in those days.
Yes.
So my Tahitian language and upbringing was done within the four walls of our home.
Yes, that's exactly the story we have too with my mom. And
yeah, exactly. So English is my fourth language.
Yeah. So you speak okay, so there's Tahitian. Do you speak Paumotu?
Yes, I do.
Wow, I love
it. I have to say that Tahitian is my first language. Paumotu is my second, French is my third, English is my fourth, Samoan is my fifth,
woo!
And Japanese is my sixth.
Oh my gosh! That's just amazing. I love it. I love it. I'm a passionate of languages too. So when you tell me all this is like, oh yeah, makes me excited. Oh,
yeah, this is why I got excited when you asked me, because I am a lover of language. I love to be able to diversify in these different languages. I think it's just so amazing, so awesome. So
that's awesome. I love to hear that. Oh, okay, this is great. Okay, and I love Paumotu language too. I don't actually know much, but I just pick up a lot of words growing up. Once in a while, we're gonna say, like, for example, instead of saying fatatarua, we say fakatarua. That K always pop up here and
exactly.
there.
Yeah. I'm not as fluent as I want to be, but after living in the state, I've been here for almost 50 years. Voilà, ça coince un petit peu.
Oh, you know what? It's normal, Auntie, because I also struggle. Like, even right now, I've only been here for 15 years. And you know what? Sometimes I feel like I don't even know how to speak French, even French or even Tahitian. Sometimes I block, like, I was like, oh my gosh, how do you say that? And I feel like I don't know the language, but I do. But I think it's normal for people who speak multiple languages. We do have those, like, brain freeze, if I can call it like that. Yeah, it's normal. Yeah, it's normal. But you know what? I bet if you go back to the Tuamotu, for example, and you get in that environment, I think it happened to me. It goes back. You right away you get into your element.
Yep, so absolutely.
It's in there.
It's I totally agree.
It's so awesome. I love it. I love that we're sharing this. Okay, all right. So my next question, it goes as you as an instructor or a judge, especially judge, because that's a big position. Do you find, according to your experience, that the Reo Tahiti since we're talking about Reo Tahiti and Ori Tahiti, do you find that the Reo Tahiti is useful or necessary, not so much in the teaching, but well, yes, but in the implementation in the Ori Tahiti? Do you think it's important, or it's useful, like we can use that in the Ori Tahiti?
Well, I mean, you cannot say that it's not important, because everything has a meaning in your dancing, in the aparima. You know, when it's in Tahitian, you have to be able to understand. You
Right.
have to be able to be a part of that storyline. And for me, as not only as a teacher, but also as a choreographer, I always got to put myself into the role of the writer, because it's only at that moment that you can understand what he was thinking about. Where was he at that moment when he wrote that story and put it into music? It's only at that moment that you can understand that you cannot just translate word for word. You've got to read the sentence, because it changes the meaning of, it changes things. It changes the way that the story is going. And also to pay attention to the pitch in his voices, or to pay attention to the musicality. There's a reason why perhaps the songwriter decided at this moment, I only want to hear the vivo. There's a reason. And you cannot just take one word and understand the entirety of what he's doing, or what he's placing, or what he's even trying to present. You know, you have to pay attention to all the little nuances, all the little things that makes you feel like you've got chicken skin, why I'm feeling this way. So it cannot just be the phrase. That's why I'm saying it is so important.
Yeah, I totally agree.
To implement that into the Ori Tahiti and the way of teaching. But it comes from the teacher. You know, you cannot expect your students if you're not doing your due diligence.
Yes.
So, and you don't have to be Tahitian. By all means, I know a lot of awesome choreographers that have done their due diligence, that have gone and do research. This is when people like Moina and Steve and their ebooks. This is why it's so important. The timing is right, Moina. This is, you know, I always believe that there's a time and place for everything.
I do believe the same thing.
Honey, this is a time.
Yeah.
This is really getting into the 20th century. This is a time where we can hone in on not only the way we dance, but the way we sing and the way we interpret the song. Song interpretation is so much, you know, it's the way you look, it's the way you smile, it's the way you open your eyes, the way you close your eyes, the way you extend. All that has a powerful meaning into translating. And for myself, looking through the lens of a judge, I pick up on those things.
Yes.
Because I am a teacher. Yes. I am a choreographer. I am a singer wannabe. I am a musician wannabe. You know, but I am so fine-tuned with my entire element that I pick up on those things. And, you know, when you present a group, you know, and sometimes I think, oh, this is the most important part. And, oh, they missed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's like, oh, man, I get it.
Almost there. And I was there with you, and then I lost it, you know. So there's time when you really need to dig deeper. You know, because you owe it to the writer. You owe it to yourself to understand. You owe it to your students to learn and absorb.
Right.
So,
wow, this is so, like, there's so much wisdom what you're sharing here, and I 100% agree with you. You know, when you say about the teachers, yes, guys, if you get to that position, I'm sorry, but this is your responsibility. It's a serious responsibility. So it requires you guys to go a little bit more deeper than a dancer, And it's not about just mimicking everything,
Yeah.
because, and even though in the past that's what a lot of people have done, I mean, it's not their fault, you know. We're not blaming anybody, but I think now is the time, like you said, that we are having access to all that knowledge, or even to people, we can make it happen. And like you say, it doesn't have to be a Tahitian, because yeah, some people have done their homework and went beyond, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It is just, and if not for anybody else, do it for yourself, you know,
Mm,
because, you know, the only way you can be part of a whenua or a legacy even is to totally submerge yourself,
right.
you know, whether, and I always say, you know, the ocean is the biggest marae of Polynesia.
Ooh,
This
yes.
is right. This is how we're able to connect each other. Whether you are Tahitian or Samoans or Hawaiian, it doesn't
Tongan,
matter. We
Maori,
are
all of them.
related. Exactly.
Mm,
That marae connects us. This is why we're able to understand each other. There's such a huge connection
mm,
in the language. There's so much similarity, and oftentimes we put everybody in groups, but as far as I'm concerned, it shouldn't be in group.
you
It should be a
shouldn't. We're one.
family.
Yes.
Right, it should be a family,
Yeah.
and that's the only way for us to understand and to coexist within our culture, because we are connected. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's so true. And actually that's how I was raised, because you know, I just mentioned that with Atiana earlier in the live, by saying that the people where my family is from in Reatia, they're actually thinking differently than what I hear in Tahiti. They don't have the same scenario. When you go over there, they're not actually, they don't put people in category. They're like the Polynesians, the Samoan, the Maori, everybody is one. And you know, I never understood that until I really like listened to what they say, all the elders. And I had a chance to meet with the guardians of the Mare Tapu Tapuatia. There was two, actually three, and one just passed away. And
Oh.
so even them, you know, they
Can I
they
ask
say
you
that
for the name? Because I actually had one of the guests
it's
in my house.
Papa Timi.
Papa
He's the
Timi.
one who passed away, yeah, unfortunately.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's a strong guy though. He's a very
yeah,
strong. The
yeah,
other one, Papa Marehau, is more he's more soft, but Papa Timi is the ooh.
oh
But I learned
man,
so much from them, and Papa Timi is always talk like that. It's like he doesn't talk like, oh, we the Tahitian. No, never. I always hear him saying like
yep,
everybody, including everybody. And I
yep,
I never heard that in Tahiti, because we it's different. And you
yep,
know, only in Reate I heard that, and I understood that thinking, that way of thinking. And this is why I'm so passionate about Polynesian cultures, and Steve and I were both in that journey, because like even like for example, next year we will invest ourselves to learn a little bit more about the Samoan culture. I took some courses in Maori language. I just started during the pandemic, and it made me realize how much there's so much, we're so the same and so different at the same time. And so it goes in every way. It's not only, hey everybody, learn our language so you can be, no, it is that whole exchange
yeah,
we can
yeah,
have, you
yeah.
know.
We are
Mhm.
interconnected. You know, there's that, brotherhood, sisterhood relationship in culture
Yeah.
that needs to be nurtured more,
Right.
so
Right.
that we don't put our culture in boxes. So I don't
Exactly.
think it was ever meant to be that way. I remember having a discussion some years ago with Papa Koko Hotota, and he said something that was really profound, and I always have that question in the back of my mind. He says every culture have their own soul,
Mm.
and the soul of that culture belongs to those people, but it is in acceptance of other culture because of that interconnection, because we are, we we travel the same realm. And so, I mean, sitting down with Coco and talking to him, it's like, I just want to push record and push
Yes.
replay and push record.
I know the feeling.
That reservoir of information is like so awesome. So I love that man.
I know. Yeah, I truly, yeah, no, it's true. All the time we spend with Coco was the same thing. It's like, oh, and so everything that comes out of his mouth is all gold, you know. It's gold. Sometimes it's rough, but still it's like diamond. And you're like, wait, what? What did you just said right now? Because what you just saying is so powerful. And he will be missed definitely.
And even when I started teaching in Japan, I started teaching in Japan 30 years ago. 30 years ago, there was no Tahitian dancing. Well, I shouldn't say there was no, maybe there was some, but nobody. This is when hula was really strong in Japan, and nobody wanted to take the time to learn Tahitian. So I literally just went cold calling, knocking on door, let me teach you, Tahiti. And some of the doors that opened up didn't even know what Tahiti was.
Wow.
Interesting. And they called it Tahiti, so Tahiti, nani kore? What is that? What is that? So, but it was an adventure, but at the bottom of my heart, I really felt that, Japan soon would have that development and that desire to learn, because they were so into hula that already I knew that their desire to learn was there. So all I needed to do was implement a little bit of our culture in there, put a little bit of spotlight on our island that we so love, and just let the magic happen, So, when I first hit my first group in Japan, I opened the door and she says, oh, yeah. That's because I heard drumming. So I thought, oh my gosh, I got to go into that group. So knock, knock, let me in. So, and I said, this is really good. I teach Tahitian dancing. I would love to introduce to you Tahitian dancing. Nothing wrong with what you're doing. That's African music, but don't worry about that. I'm going to reintroduce you. So it was my way of kind of infiltrating a little bit of, a little bit of island paradise and our culture into the heart of Japanese. And it's been one of the best journey in my
experience.
life.
Yeah, I was actually just gonna get into that, because you know what, I'm gonna bring you back to, I think it was in 2015, if I'm not wrong. That was one of the craziest year of my life, because I actually brought 460 people from the US to Tahiti to attend the Wharereira Tahiti of Koko Huta Huta. And you were there, and I think it was that year. You were there because I attended the events, of course, at To'ata, and you were the MC. And of course, I was impressed because you were like speaking in Japanese and French and English. Like, what? And back then I heard about you, but I didn't know you personally yet. And so my husband's like, yeah, it's Aunty Rose. And he was like telling me about you. And what really, like, I had a jaw like dropping that night, because a group from Japan, that was my first time ever in my whole life, I saw a group of Japan perform as a huge group, like how many huge group we see from Japan. They perform, and what really blew my mind, it was to see the Ra'atira actually do a orero, a speech in Tahitian. Goodness, I was like, what's going on? And so at the end, we actually kind of investigated. We went backstage and we couldn't find you, because we wanted to introduce ourselves to you and to congratulate you with this group. But we were able to talk to some of the people backstage, and we say, oh, who taught you that? Like, how it's possible? And they all go, oh, it's Aunty Rose. And unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to talk to you and to congratulate you. But I want to say that, oh my gosh, this person right there is doing an amazing job, because we are seeing right there in front of our eyes in Tahiti, atu ata, something like beyond,
Yep.
our imagination. And so first of all, now years later, I have the chance to tell you congratulations for all the work you have done in Japan, because you actually have made an impact, and that's what you're known for anyways. We know you for that, for that impact that you made in Japan, and it's just amazing. And thank you for doing this for our culture, for our small islands, and that this is just amazing. And
Thank
also,
you.
I want to ask you, Aunty, regarding this job and impact that you have done. What would you suggest? Because what you did with the Japanese, it was just like beyond I was like blown away.
At anywhere, whether it was in Japan, whether it was in Mexico, whether it was here, my classes are conducted in Tahitian.
I love it.
For my Japanese students, it was sink or swim. I mean, it's a good thing that we have a translator, but it was Yorana, it was everything. It was
Small
the
words, right?
it was the varu, it was farotaria, it was tapirit ava, turimania. So it was all that, but it was so repetitious that my students will tell me back the same thing. It was the thing that was so important to me, that I don't only teach the dancing in English to be translated in Japanese, because so I'm an American just because I Americanize myself, but it was important for me, if I dig into my culture, for them to learn from me is learning my language as well.
Yeah.
And not only the language, but more now, if you ever meet any of my students, these kids, I tell you, these dancers, they know their beats.
Oh,
so if you tell them, for example, Miyuki, what beat is this? They listen. Bora bora des.
Wow.
Good. What beat is that? Toma des. Okay, so how many beat is in this toma? 4 counts. So you've got, when you become a teacher, you cannot just be a surface teacher. You cannot just be a teacher right here, because our culture is not right here. There's elements in our culture that's so important, and it's so vibrant, that we need to make sure that when we're teaching them, they know everything, because oftentimes we're dancers, and that the teacher, the musicians are kind of forgotten. They're kind of in the background, which is not supposed to be. Those two are supposed to be interconnected. Those two are supposed to be the same, because as a solo dancer, if you studied your music, even though that is live, you're so in tune with the music that you would know exactly he's gonna change the beat right now.
Yes.
But if you're not in tune with it, you're gonna miss that whole thing and just become a dancer, just become a surface dancer. So teachers, it's so important that you teach the language. There are talented people that are Tahitian at heart, that are so immensely talented in music, in drumming. Take advantage of that. Teach that to your children or to your dancers, because it is a vital part of our culture.
Oh, Rose, this is so good. I love it. You just actually gave a lot of advice for teachers right now. Guys, if you're here, listen to what she just said right now. This is like gold here. I love it.
You cannot just teach a little bit and think, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to that part later. As a teacher, you need to have your students needs to be comfortable that they are learning what they should be learning and not just dancing. Anybody can do that. Anybody can put a pareu on, put a cute little flower on and be on stage. But is that enough? No, it's not. So be that teacher for your students, because you are giving honor to our home. You are giving honor to those that worked so hard to bring that musicality and to bring that drumming to us. And so if we just take it and we don't even pay attention to it because we're not teaching it, then we're not grateful. I'm sorry, but you can't be grateful and just take and not give, you know, not be grateful for the things that was given to you. So
this is so good. Tati, I want to ask you, like, what is like quick tips, because right now you gave so much already, so much advice here. This is like a nice workshop for teachers here. Guys, we're having this for free, guys. Tati, I wanted to ask you, what, like, can you give us like maybe a technique or an idea, or maybe an idea or a simple method that you can share with teachers when implementing the Reo Tahiti in class? Because like, for example, earlier you say, oh yeah, I use simple phrases like yaurama. Those are, and it's good. We're not like asking people to learn the entire language. That's not the point. It takes time to do that, right? So what would you suggest?
Well, you know, the basics of what are you teaching? You know, get your basics, get your fundamental moments. Like in a class, start with the basic. Don't start, if somebody wants to learn, for example, OTA, don't teach them the OTA if they don't know their basic. That's not going to do them any good, you know? So get your papers together, formulate your classes for that moment, that 1 hour classes. What step are you going to teach? Do your research. What are those steps done properly in Tahitian? Get in there, you know exactly. Give them 5 minutes going back and going back and forth. You know, what step was that? You know, this is your, for example, this is your otamu, you know. So remember that, because I'm going to ask you later on to tell me what those steps is. Bring them to the front, you know, and test them, kind of, you know. So, and be the poopo of the classroom, yeah. So that means be the frontline person, and tell them everything in Tahitian, and watch them execute that, correct them if that needs to be, and repeat those moments. You got 5 minutes in there. 5 minutes dancing is a long time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you can implement, and then you get the next person. You implement the next step, maybe the next 3 steps. Zero in on those 3 steps, because that dancer is going to remember. She's going to remember the whole thing.
Right.
But if you become so repetitious in your teaching in the Reo Maui or the Reo Tahiti, they're going to remember that. And every week, when you go back to class, guess what you start from? The same basic.
Yes.
With the same what? The same words, you know, but this time, let them tell you.
I love it.
And then all you need to do is stand back and correct them if needs to be corrected. And if not, then just give them a big pat on the back and say, good job. Reward them, because it took them a while to register, because a lot of my students, 90% of my students, 99% of my students are non-Tahitian.
Yeah,
you know, but
so
they
you
are
have
Tahitian
the experience,
lovers,
you know.
Tahitian at heart.
Yeah, sorry about that, but yes, you have the experience because you did work with non-Tahitians. So I love that, guys. This is so valuable here. Start small, start with the basics, you know,
baby steps.
Yes, small thing. You don't need to just go for like too much. Of course, it's gonna be overwhelming and frustrating. And I'm not trying to do a sale here, but this is why we created that ebook. It's because it's to respond to what she's saying here. Because like people will say like, hey, but how do you say that? Or what can I say in class? Because a lot of people don't know. So that's why we did that. It's because it's to explain, hey, this is and it's very simple. You will see it's very simple. Use this, start with that one at a time, and then follow the path that she's shared with you guys. And I think, goodness, I dream of going in classes where, you know, to see the Reo Tahiti and Ori Tahiti combined, and oh, that would be so beautiful to me.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. You know, just the very basic, you know, basic words, you know, things that you are going to feel more comfortable with, you know, speaking from my Tahitian lovers at heart, you know, my Tahitian at hearts, you know, start, you know, with Yorana, you know, Harimai, you know, Atiamai, Harimua, Harimuri, Hariraru, Harinya. Those are the words that are so
super simple.
This and those are the words that you're going to use in your classes every time you teach a
Every
class.
time.
It's not just a one thing, you know. So yeah, it's important to do that. You owe it to yourself, and then your students, you know, need to hear that from you. So.
And it's possible because you've done it. It's possible, and
I've been teaching for over 30 years.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's possible, and I'm seeing that too right now. Also, since I started teaching, I see a lot of my students who are also Ori Tahiti teachers who are implementing. So it's happening, and that's why everyone. It's a call. What Aunty is saying here, it's a call to everyone. Let's get into it, and I know we can do wonders, and also not only that, but also to honor, like you said, you know, all the people who have brought all that, you know, the people before us, because they work hard for it, right? So
that's right.
That's
right. I was just reading, Garrett, you're right. Repetition is key.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is. You know, you know, sometimes we get into class, and I know, because, you know, I've been to, you know, a few classes where if mentally the teacher is not ready, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to be ready to encourage your students to do the same. You know, you got to check yourself at the door before you come in, because when you start tapping into a culture, you need to give it your all.
Yes.
You need,
this is so good.
Right. You need to make sure that when you give, you don't hold back. You know, mistakes are made. Girl, I made mistakes.
We all do. I still do.
Right? We make mistakes, but it's not how you start.
Yeah,
you know, it's how you end. You know, it's how you end. It's how you pick up yourself and think, okay, wait, you know what? That was so wrong. I'm sorry. Gominasai, Hontoni gominasai, because jigout, stop. You know, so sorry, it's wrong, stop, and then you correct. But if you think you're better than anybody else, then you're never going to learn something. Then you're going to go in thinking that, you know, it's me, it's my word, or no way at all. That's not it. You know, you have to pay respect for the environment that you're in, and that's your you know, that's your classroom, or, you know, that's the place that you're going to be saying the words, you're going to be saying the songs, you're going to be dancing the dances. So that classroom is so important. Give it the sacredness. Give it the sacredness it needs.
I love this, Auntie. You just gave us like a free workshop here. It was truly that, because really everything you have shared was very valuable, huh? And I'm gonna do a replay. You know, I'm gonna share this video because I know it's gonna help so much people, and I hope it will encourage them as well. Because guys, listen to Aunty Rose, because this is such a, we're talking, this is experience here, okay? There's a lot of wisdom coming out from her right now. We have to take advantage.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you
oh my goodness. All right. So last question for you, Aunty Rose. It's not really a question, but what will be your words of encouragement, or, you know, even though you already said, but like, what would you want to say, you know, to all the Ori Tahiti community, or studios, or teachers? What would you want to say to them today, right now?
Well, 2 advices. Number 1, get your hands on the ebooks on POLY-lingual Reo Tahiti. Get your hands on that. And number 2, go home. Go back to Tahiti.
Yeah.
When you go back, don't go back only as a tourist.
Mm.
Go back because you want to be part of a nuna. You want to be part of of everything. You want to be part of, go up the mountain. Go up the mountain and understand that the wind whispers differently because you're part of it. Go to the river and understand that the river murmurs or whispers differently. Go into the ocean because that salt water has so much wealth that it brings to you. Go back and sit at somebody's table because it is part of their family. Partake of their food because it gave so much love and it fed a nation of people. Go back and feel, pick a flower and look at the flower and understand that that flower is so vibrant that you've never noticed it before. That color is so much more vibrant and the scent is so much more sweeter. You know why? Because you went home and decided, I need to be Tahitian. Even for that 1 week or even for that moment, you need to walk in the shoe of our ancestor. Because when I go back to Takaroa, Moinau, I feel the same way. When I walk the path, I think, did my parents, grandparents, great-grandparents walk the same path I'm on? Did they lean on the same coconut tree that I'm leaning on? Are they breathing in that clean air the same way that I'm breathing in? That's the only way for you, and all of you who are linked in today. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that. It's
Me
the
too.
only way for us. It's the only way for us to be connected. Don't go just as a tourist. Nothing wrong with that. But for you as teachers and as students, in order for you to understand who we are, who we truly are, be a part of us in every way, shape, or form. Go home. That's where the source is. Go home and be part of the things that made us who we are today. I see my sister on. I'm going to give a quick cuckoo to Master.
I see.
Busy Master, I love you so much. Thank you for linking and joining us. Busy for Master. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, don't apologize. Oh my gosh, Auntie, I wish you're in person right now. I'll just hug you like for the longest time.
We're going to do internet hugs.
Oh, this is so good. And you know what? You say that, I feel like crying right now. I feel like I want to go home. I haven't been home for 2 years because of the pandemic.
Girl, me too.
I miss home so bad right now, and I didn't go, of course, because I didn't want to take the risk. But your speech right here, I just want to go home now. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm being selfish here, but I want to go home.
For me too. Yeah, for me too. I sometimes just need to dunk myself into the ocean just so that I can wash all of that everyday mundane, everyday things that we're so involved in, and just refresh my mind, refresh my soul, refresh my body. This is the reason why we need to go home.
Yeah,
so,
we need to.
Leandra, I see you. I love you too, Leandra. Thank you. I love you, Six. Thank you, sweetie.
Everybody's so nice right now. I think they're feeling the vibes as well. That's awesome. Oh, thank you, everyone. So much. Thank you, Auntie. This is so good. Every guest I had so far, it's just like I feel like we need to see each other because this has been
they were so impactful.
Yeah,
all of them. They were so impactful. There's a little bit of everybody that just makes you want to be. It's those aha moments, and when you have those aha moments, I have a book. Actually, I'm writing a book. I'm writing a memoir.
No way.
I do. I'm writing a memoir because, you know, our children, our great-grandchildren need to understand who we are, because somewhere down the line, we're going to be forgotten unless we write it down and give that to them. What better gift it is to our children, our future generation, but a book of history, of our history.
Our story.
Where is my mama from? What did she do? How did her and Papa met? Things like that needs to be recorded. So going back to my aha moment is always written down. When something clicks, like some of your speakers have so eloquently spoken of today, those aha moment is in my book because it totally makes sense.
Yes,
it totally makes sense. So good job on you, Moinel, because getting everybody together must not have been an easy task.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't, but you know what? I'm a very determined person. But like you said earlier, that I have that determination is come from my ancestor, my grandma, my grandpa, my great grandma. My great grandma was the one who taught me Tahitian, and I want to. She's no longer here anymore, but I want to make her proud. And so this is where I found that passion and determination. But I always tell myself, it's not, if people are not here or can't respond, it's okay. There's a time for everything. Maybe it's not now. Maybe it's not now. Whoever responded to the call are here, and that's what it is. But so far, what I didn't know it will be like this, you know, this whole live series. But to me, it's been fulfilling every day. After every session, I always go back in my house. I'm in my office here, in my house, talking to my husband about it. And we're just like, we feel so good when we go to bed, you know, because we're like, oh, this person have shared so much value, so much positiveness, and we're keeping that. So it's not easy, but again, it's for my ancestors. I'm doing this.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes, you know, don't think of the 100. Think of the one person that's right. Think of the one person that you have impacted more than a 99. That one person is going to carry that on. That's the kind of positive attitude that you and Steve have brought through your book to make impact, perhaps not on a 100, perhaps it's 1,000. But think of that one person that just sat at the desk thinking, that was written for me. That has my name on it. That's the satisfaction that you and Steve should go every night when you go to bed, pat each other on the back and say, you know what, you did good.
Yes, it's about quality. And you know what, it is true, because when I see students making progress, I'm a bit obsessed with results, not on a big scale, but like if I see one student using one sentence, even just posting on Facebook and Instagram, goodness, I'm so proud of it. And I'm like, wait, it's happening. They are using Tahitian. They are, you know, implementing. They are, and so many more. And it just makes my day, you know. So
that's good.
I'm off, like, filled up with joy because of that. So.
And you should be. You absolutely, you and Steve have done a phenomenal job. The planning process, the writing, the research.
It was. I don't think people realize. I don't think people realize all the work we have done, because we don't have books in English for Tahitian. It's like beside a dictionary, or there are some books here and there, but not like this. So everything was built from scratch. And so what does it mean, scratch? It's like to go after people, go after millions of books, go after, and then translate that. It was a work of crazy people. It took us 3 months just to write, because we have to, even though it's a very easy, efficient book, but it took us months to write, because we have to think everything, every possible way. You know, but so I don't think people realize that, but it was hard, and it took a lot of bravery. We had to be courageous, because In
Yeah,
Tahiti,
you
our
know, we
own
have to
people
break
are
those
not so
doors. Yep.
nice. You know.
I know, I know, I know, I know. I hear you. I hear you. But I mean, you know what you're doing is right. That's important. You
Yes.
know that you've touched the hearts of many, and that's important. It's about breaking the doors down. It's breaking that glass ceiling. It's about,
Yes.
being such a disciple of our culture, being such a disciple of who we are as Tahitian, and being able to just crack that door open and say, you know what, you're so welcome here. I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to give you that, and the rest is up to you. So what you and Steve have done was absolutely genius.
Oh, thank
Why did
you.
I think of that? No, just kidding.
No, no,
But
but honestly,
bravo,
but
Mashiri.
I'll tell you, Auntie, though it didn't come from us, though the idea actually came from the students. It really came from them. They asked that a million times. I can't even count how many. And I was like, okay, yeah, I think we have to make it happen. We have to do that. We have to, even if it's hard, even if we don't have help, even if we have to make it happen. And we did it. Of course, it wasn't easy. Of course, we made a lot of mistakes. Everybody talk
Right.
about mistake. It's important. We did,
That's right.
but we got up again and corrected and corrected and corrected. And so now we're like, guys, this is it. Get it, get it. It's gonna help. And you know what? People did support it by getting the ebook. I saw so many people getting it, and Steve and I, we decided that in January. And if you are interested, I'm pitching you here. But in January, we're going on a tour. We are giving back to the community, because we're gonna go in Ori Tahiti dance studios and help teachers. We're gonna help them implement that for free. We're gonna do this for free from the bottom of our heart, because we want people to take action. That's what we're trying
Bueno,
to do.
bueno. Today is December 1st at 4:57 p.m. First of all, we're late. Second of all, if you don't invite me, I'm gonna crash that party.
Oh
I'm
no.
gonna show up
And
anyways.
I
I'm
need
gonna
help.
show up.
I do need help. I'm always open. I love working as a team. And so that's why the idea of helping the best we can. That's really the idea here. And so I say, that's it.
Yeah.
We're doing this January. Next week we have our planning meeting, so we're gonna make it happen, and we're gonna go give back to the community and help as much as we can. And it's gonna start
Wow.
with what? Pronunciation, say the word correctly. It's simple
Yep.
things, but maybe people
Simple.
need that help.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, that's the start. That's the
Yes.
right start. So having to, being able to, take another step forward, for the betterment of those that are so passionate about our culture. So yeah, I'm for it. I'm all for it.
Yes.
So
Oh, we'll
yes,
get
you
in
can
touch. I
include
would
me.
love to have your help. Definitely.
I'm
Absolutely.
in. I'm
Yes, let's
in.
make it happen. It's time to take action. Like you said again, I'm listening to you, Auntie, right now, when you say it is time now. It's finally
This is a
time.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a
So
time. So there's a time and place for everything, and this is a
exactly.
time. So you at the right moment, where people would appreciate the, the tools,
Mm.
would appreciate and would understand the tool, because you make it so. And girl, I just love your slangs that you do.
Yeah,
I
I have
love,
a lot
because
more.
it's so real, because it's so relatable. They go home
Yeah.
and they don't have to be like so prim and proper, yeah.
Yeah.
Like net ahwa pa, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's so
Yeah.
relatable, and that's what I love about that,
Yeah,
because
in those video, I wanted to get my Tahitian Kaina out of me,
I
because my
so
mom is like,
love it.
"Oh my gosh, you're showing your Kaina thing over there." I'm like, "That's just being me. I was raised like this, so why not hiding?"
I think we're related for sure now.
Yeah.
Now I know for sure we're related, because
Oh
we can
goodness.
put all the makeup on, and on a side note is the, like is the, the no papaya met no, or
it's the Kaina style, eh?
Yeah,
Kaina
it's the kind of
style.
style. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have a lot
So
more videos. I'm gonna post it just for fun, because you know what, I work so hard and I need sometimes to be just have fun. And that's my
yes,
way of doing this. And maybe, yeah, it's gonna help people, like be relatable, and then even understand, like,
yeah.
oh, this is really how the Tahitians are. Yeah, this is how we are.
That's why I'm saying, don't take those out, because when they go home, they're going to be expecting something that, and then they're going to be shocked, like, wait, what is
What?
this?
Yeah.
So by doing things that happens at home, it's more relatable.
Yeah, and it's more
So
real. It's more real.
exactly,
But because, guys, everyone listen, Tahitians are not that proper. We are, because we have the French influence, but we're not formal at all. Totally
and
not.
I think most of them that are they probably would agree. They probably think, yeah, that's right. So absolutely.
We're on est des Pukarua. On est des Pukarua.
Papa di trofeo shope na mi ama.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Aunty
fun.
Rose. It was so much fun, and I this is a date we're seeing each other again, and I really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for this time you have for us. And everyone, I'm sure you agree with me. Aunty Rose has gave us so much wisdom tonight, and let's just say thank you. Maruru mate Yahweh, Tati Rose, Maruru mate. So till we meet again,
yes, absolutely.
There you go.
Marumate a marunate fanhonhor fanhaf ayahiro de fanhonhor atawe ihohora mai na matoporoa no reira maruru ya urua Steve no te hipai tirai ta urua I rave pahihiro vo no reira maruru ya oe maruru ya Steve maruru ya otopa atua te
Te avatea.
Te mat e maira yara na Tati Rose Ori Tahiti me I love you guys.
Ahu Uranui. Beautiful name.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the best. I agree with you guys. I see. She's the best. Maruru. I love this. All right. Nana, everyone.
I think I'm going to have to owe them lunch. Whoever. I haven't seen that. I'm going to need to owe. Who's this? Jaden, I'm going to have to owe you lunch for that one.
Oh, love it.
Okay, Mashiri.
All right.
Bisu. Love you.
Nana.
Nana.